Hi everyone and welcome. In this video we will look at how to set up a geospatial development environment on a Windows PC and a Python geospatial development environment. And the reason I'm recording this before the onboarding meeting is that I'm looking at multiple platforms. And if during the stream I have to show you how to install it on both Linux and Windows and Mac, that will mean I will have to either pause or end the stream and take it again, and which will all make the onboarding meeting a very long one. But if I separate the videos like this, show you how to install it on your own operating system, you can follow this video and then do that, so that the onboarding meeting, we just introduce ourselves to the tools and then get ourselves prepared for the bootcamp. So there's another video for Linux users, which should also work for Mac. I currently don't have a Mac OS, but I have Windows and Linux, but most of the Linux commands should work for Mac. I believe they all have the same Unix system. So let us get started. We will install Anaconda or Miniconda, and I will go with the Miniconda, and I will explain why I will go with the Miniconda. For now, and in this video, you don't have to understand everything I'm saying 100%, because you just have to follow me, install the stuff, make sure they work on your PC like they work on mine. And then during the onboarding meeting and subsequent meetings, I will explain each of the tools from scratch and how to use this and what this does and what this is. Okay, after the conda, we will install some Python geospatial libraries. We will create our own environment within the conda and install some Python geospatial libraries. We will also install what we call an IDE, which is a fancy name for integrated development environment. It's just a place or a system of softwares that helps us to write, edit, and view our code and the results, that everything that has to do with programming. We can do it in an IDE. And then also we will install QGIS, which is an open source GIS software. So if we have to do any visualization in a GIS software, then QGIS is our go-to software. So let us start with the installation of all these one by one. Inside your favorite search engine, you can come in and then search for Miniconda download. And then let me bring the screen up. You should see installing Miniconda, the very first link that has docs.anaconda.com. I will reference them all in the video's description. Let me copy this link and then paste it somewhere. So this is the Miniconda. They are all made by one company called Anaconda. If you're already a data science person, you should be familiar with this platform. But if it is your first time, don't worry. You don't have to know all is it about Anaconda. What we are getting here is, you can think of it like a package or a helper that will help us create our workspace for geospatial development. So with this conda we are about to install, we can create our whole environment, or you can think of it like less technically like a workspace, which will contain all our geospatial tools and Python itself, so that we can work easily and efficiently. Truth be told, installing or setting up your own Python development environment on Windows without any of these helpers like the Anaconda distribution and the OSGeo, Open Source Geospatial Foundation for Windows, it is very difficult and a lot of things might not work. So using package managers like this will help you do that. So here at the left side, we see why should I use Anaconda distribution, or should I use Anaconda or Miniconda? And they have explanations here. They were both created by Anaconda, and they all have conda, the conda which is the package manager that we will be using. And also, this is where the differences come in. The number of packages that comes with it by default. Think of the packages like pre-installed Python libraries that we can use out of the box to perform analysis. And so the main Anaconda comes with 250 plus. That should take a lot of space on your PC. And not all of them will be needed or useful to you at once. But the Miniconda comes with way less than that, which is less than 70. That means that it will take less space. It will put less toil on your computer's resources. So if your computer is not really even that powerful, you still do not have a problem using Conda. And then the installation space required, you can see that the Anaconda distribution is quite huge. And then the Miniconda is far less. And the Anaconda also has a navigator, which is a graphical user interface where you can click on buttons and type in some small text entries to do what we have or want to do. But the Miniconda, we will always be typing code. Don't worry, it is simple. The codes are simple and straightforward, and you don't need to memorize them. They are on the internet, and I can also compile it into a PDF for you so that you don't have to memorize it. Yes. So if your machine is powerful enough, you can install the Anaconda distribution. But for the greater good, I will click on the Miniconda, scroll down, and you see this is the Windows. So I click on it. I'm on a Windows 64-bit. I click on it, and my download manager has picked it on the next screen, so I'll tell it to initiate the download while we move on to the next. So the next item on our list is to also download the IDE of choice, which is Visual Studio Code. So you just come in here and say Visual Studio Code download. And then that one to skip this first link. I want you to go to the one that says code.visualstudio.com. So you click on this link. I will copy that one too, and then I will link it in the video description. Okay, so here I'm on Windows, so I will download for Windows. If you are a Linux user, I'm not sure if you are watching this video, or a Mac OS, because this is obviously for Windows people. But there are two installers here, and confusion may come from which one to install. And this is how it is. You see this user installer. There are some PCs, especially work or home PCs, that are kind of used by more than one person. And so you can have the same PC and multiple user accounts where everybody signs in with their own password. Mine is only for me. I'm the only user on it. So if I'm signing in, I sign in as Tommy, and that is all. If I have multiple users and I install the user installer, it will only install it for me, Tommy, and not other users, even though we are all using the same computer. But if I go with the system installer, it will install it for all users. So if you are on a PC that is being used by multiple people and you want it to be that you are the only one who has access to the VS Code, then install the user installer. Other than that, if you want everybody else to have access to it, install the system installer. But if it is your own PC, it is you don't share it and you are the only user on it, it doesn't really matter whether you install the system or the user. So I'll go ahead and click on this. Whether it downloads system or user, I don't really care because I'm the only user there. But if you have to specifically download one of these, you just click on it and it will download it for you. Once again, it has also initialized the download there. So let's go to the new tab and then let's download our QGIS. So inside here too, we say QGIS download, and then the first one takes us, ignore this one if you're using Microsoft Edge. Go to the one that says qgis.org and you see download there. Click on it. And here they are asking us to donate. For now, I will skip and go to download. And you see here that we have two versions here for Windows. And there's the long-term release, then there's the latest version. This long-term release version is more stable, and the latest version is more current. But I will recommend that you download the long-term version. That is what I use. So you just click on it like this, and that should also initialize the download for me. And that is also happening on the other screen. So I will tell it to download. Okay. So I think they should all be done downloading now. Let me see. Okay. Let's give it some time. And also, at least a few seconds for the QGIS to finish. And also the Python libraries that we'll be using. Let me see. Or maybe we shouldn't even go over them here. So what I'll do is that I'll bring up my downloads folder. I have it here. And I just hope these things are so big enough for you to see. I think I can go to view and extra large icons. Yep. I have all the three here plus an extra software that you don't need and you don't have to worry yourself about. And so this is the Miniconda. That is what I will install first. So I double click on it. So like any normal Windows software, we will have to go through this process and agree to their terms and conditions. And usually when you are installing software and you see the recommended, just choose the recommended, except you are an advanced user who knows how to do some customizations. And so here I will not change this directory. You can see that it's taking 418. I think that is even less than what they said on the website that it will take. So that is good. And this place, add Miniconda to my path environment variable. You can see here that it says it's not recommended because it can lead to conflicts with other applications. So I'll just leave everything here. That is default as default. And it is trying to register Miniconda as my default Python 3.12. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I'll click on install. And this should take some time, maybe not so long, but it will eventually finish installing. And I think we can skip this one and go ahead and install the other ones also. So now to the VS Code. I already have VS Code installed. If I should come and my search for code, I think should pop up. See that I already have Visual Studio Code here installed. So I don't really need to install it twice. But if you follow the normal Windows installation procedure, you should just double click. That is assuming you don't have Visual Studio Code installed. And then these ones will come, you accept the terms and agreements, go next. And then this is the place where I want to explain things. You can choose to create a desktop icon, a shortcut, so that you don't have to search for it like I did to open it. You can just double click on a shortcut on your desktop and open it. And this one that says add open with code to Windows Explorer file context menu. Now what does even that one mean? And then the second one, which is also just like that one, but that one is directory context menu. And this one that says register code as an editor for supported files types, that I recommend that you check it. And then add to path, that I also recommend that you check it. This add to path will give us the ability to open Visual Studio Code in our terminal and do other things in the terminal with Visual Studio Code. For the first one that says open code with the action to the File Explorer context menu, if I have a file here, I don't have a text file here, but if I quickly create a new text file here like this, and then I right click on this file, you see that among the menu that pops up here is what we call the context menu. You can see that we have open with code as part of it. That is what that option means, that if I check it, then when I right click on the file, I'll see open with code. That will help me open the file with Visual Studio Code. And then the one for the directory is just another fancy name for a folder. So if I right click on or inside any empty space in any folder, I should see among the options also that I can open that particular folder as a workspace in Visual Studio Code. So yes, I recommend those two because I have checked them, so you can check them. Next, and then at this point you just click on install and it will install for you. But I will not do it because I already have it, so it doesn't make sense to install it twice. So now we can check on our Anaconda. Probably is done installing, and yes, it's done. So this one, when you leave them on, they will open some websites for you. I'm not interested in those ones at the moment, and so I will uncheck them and click finish. It will look like nothing has happened, but yes, of course something has happened. Let's install the QGIS also, then we will open them all up to see. I also have QGIS installed, but it's only for the purpose of showing you how to do it. That is why I'm doing it. Other than that, I shouldn't have done it. Let us wait for the installer. And this one, okay, it's currently computing my space requirement. Zoom in. And then you just click next and you accept. You just click next. You may want to create desktop shortcuts and start menu shortcuts. It's completely fine. And then next, and then install. And then that will also install QGIS on your system. But once again, I am not installing it because I already have it. So I'll cancel out of this installation. And then I'll choose yes. Are you sure you want to cancel? Yes, I want to cancel. And then I'll click on finish. Okay, so the first part, I think the only one that is not done yet is the part that we have to install some Python geospatial libraries. If you take a look at our outline, we have the conda, we have the Visual Studio Code, we have the QGIS. So let us see how we can install the Python geospatial libraries. From your search bar, you can search here for Anaconda, and then you should see among the results, you should see one called Anaconda prompts, something like this. You just click on it, the one that says Miniconda 3, and then that should open up the terminal for us, this terminal. And this is where we'll be interacting with Conda most of the time. If you want to create an environment, if you want to install a package, this is what we'll be doing. If it's your first time operating in a terminal, don't worry. It is going to be very, very, very easy. So all our commands will be preceded by our package manager's name, which is Conda. So for instance, if I want to get a list of the commands I can use with Conda, I can just type Conda and then press enter. And when I press enter, it might take some time. You see all the commands here that I can use with Conda. So the following built-in and plug-in sub commands are available. The ones that we'll be using the most are activate, deactivate, and install. And don't think this is where we write our code. This is not where we write our code. We write our code in Visual Studio Code. But we have to set up our environment. Think of the environment as your workspace or your office, where you have your tools, including the Python version itself, and then the packages that will help you perform your analysis. So I'll get rid of all this stuff on the screen, and then that will the command will be cls. But you can see that there is base here. What is this base? This is the default environment that comes with the conda. So if I want to see all the environments on my system, I will type conda env, which is the environment, and then I will type list. That means I'm telling conda to list all the environments I have on my PC. So you see that it's only base. This is where it is located, and it has the asterisk because that is the default conda environment. That is not what we will use. We will create our own environment. So how we do that is conda env, and then you say create. The other one was listing it, now we are creating it, and then we put -n, which means that we want to now give a name to our environment. Like the other one is called base. This one, maybe let me call it Geo_Python. You can give any name that you like, but this is how I'll call my environment. So Geo_Python, and then you just press enter. And then conda will create a new environment for you where you can install your stuff and then use it. Your interface during the installation may be slightly different from mine. I have an environment.yml file I'm using. You can see that it's downloading Python 3.10. But you don't have to have that one set up. You just type this command and that will be great. But if you still want to use the Python 3.10, I'm sorry you may have created an environment at this point, but if you still want to use the Python 3.10, then when you type this command, you can say Python equal to, then we put maybe a version like 3.10.10. So that will also do. If you want to, in case you want to delete this environment and then create a new one with a specific Python version, you can say conda env and then remove, and then the name here, the name tag, and then you call it Geo_Python. This will remove it for you so that you can create it again with a new Python version if you want to, but you don't have to do that. We see here that there's a notice that if you want to activate this environment, we use this command. So let's just repeat that command. The $sign is not part, it's just an indication that that particular line should be typed in a terminal like we are doing. So conda activate, and then the name is GeoPython. When I press enter now, you should see that this base here should change to something else. Now it is no more base, it is GeoPython. That means that what we have is GeoPython. That is the one that is currently active. So we can do conda list. I think that should list all the installed packages in our environment. If this is the command, not like it is completely empty. These are a few things that Python needs by default, like pip, which is the installation manager also, and some of these things also, these libraries, conda needs them to work. That is why there is TK, there's a GUI framework that comes with Python, and these ones, just know that you didn't install them, but they are not harmful. You need them, conda needs them to work, so don't delete any of them. Now we will use a lot of packages, but almost all the packages we use are also wrapped up in a single package called GeoPandas. As I said in the beginning of this video, you don't have to understand everything. Just make sure that you have what I have on my PC, and then when we start using them, I will explain them. So what you have to do now is say conda install and then GeoPandas. GeoPandas will also in turn install a lot of other packages it depends on, and those packages are all the packages we use. GeoPandas depends on them. So if you install GeoPandas, you install all of them. So I just press enter like this. Make sure that GeoPython is activated. Other than that, it will install it inside base, but we want to install it inside GeoPython. So now you can see here it's telling me that the following packages will be downloaded. And you see, these are all the packages that GeoPandas needs. And Folium is one of the packages we'll be using. Fiona is also one of them. GeoPandas itself is here. GDAL is also one of the packages we'll be using. And then a whole lot of them. NumPy, there should be pandas somewhere, is also here. And then Proj is also here. We'll be using Shapely, it is also here. We'll be using Scikit-learn, it is also here. Maybe TensorFlow is not. But if we want to go ahead and proceed with the installation, we just press Y, and then this will take some time to download. So what I'll do is to open Visual Studio Code, and then we'll see the things that we can do there. So that's 1, 2. I will come and then search for code. If you just search for code, that should open up for you. So I can now open Visual Studio Code. I think I opened it twice. Okay, so if this is your first time opening Visual Studio Code, you may not see something like this. I think it should be something like this, the getting started screen. I should find it somewhere. Let me see. It's some screen that says welcome screen that says getting started. To allow you to choose some theme and all that. That is the screen I'm trying to get, but it looks like, okay, I think that's the welcome, not that one. It's not even this one also. So whatever the screen is, I think you should be able to choose your theme, and then it will tell you to do certain things. But you can close that at the top here, because all the things that it's telling you to do, that is what we are about to go through ourselves. So you just have to go to the top here where you see the X at the welcome side. You just click on it to close that one. Then we will start everything from scratch. So at the left side here, once again, don't worry about this interface if it confuses you. But at the left side here, what I want you to do is to go to the extensions icon here. And then my machine is running slow. Why? Is it because of this installation? Maybe the recording also. What I want you to do here is to search for Python. We have to install the Python extension for Visual Studio Code. This one here. I did not click install, but it's installing. I don't know why. But for yours, just make sure that you click the install button here and you have it installed. You can go ahead also and install the Python debugger, which is also from Microsoft. You see I have it installed, so it is telling me to uninstall. So I will not do that because I need it. And then I think those are the extensions, the Python extension that you need. And then there's also one called Code Runner. This one by Jun Han, if I got the name right. This one, just make sure that you search for that one too. And then make sure you install it. Let me see if I have any other extensions that will be of use to this bootcamp. There is this extension also called Error Lens. It improves error highlighting, so it will tell us more about our errors if we have some in our code. So install that one too. And then install this extension also for Jupyter. And yes, that one too should do. Okay, so there's one that is not really needed, but if you want it, you can. That will just give some styling to your files and folders. And it's called a material icon theme. And then when you install it, you should see this option that says set file icon theme. That will just give you some nice icons. And if you want your code to look nice and pretty, there's this extension called Prettier, which is a code formatter. You don't need these ones, it's just for the aesthetics part of things. So just make sure that you have those ones to install. So if you install those ones, then I think we have everything in Visual Studio Code. You don't have to worry yourself about this. During the onboarding, we get to know our way around this, how to create files and all that. But for now, if you have the extensions installed, that is it. You can close VS Code and we focus on other parts. Let's check, is our thing done? No. So what I'll do is to open up QGIS. This is not finding the one on my PC, it's rather finding the one on the internet. Let me search it again. QGIS. Okay, now this has found it. So you just click on that one to open it. Let me close code. Okay, our environment is almost complete. It has downloaded and extracted all the packages, and then it is verifying our installation for us. And so that one too should not take long. It should finish very, very soon. Okay, if this is your first time using QGIS, you may not see all of these things. I have used it for some works. That is why you have some recent projects here showing. But if you see an interface like this, probably which is white, I use screens a lot, so I don't like a lot of white theme, light theme, sorry. So I changed mine to dark. So I think if you want to access that one, I just went to settings and then options, and then under the options tab, I think it should be colors. Is it colors? No, I did it a while ago, so I've kind of forgotten it, but there should be somewhere here. The general, yes, and at the theme, UI theme, there's blend of gray, there's default and night mapping. The night mapping will give you this dark theme. So if you want it that way, then you can also install that. Okay, so what I want us to do inside QGIS here, I think maybe we can leave it like this. We'll not be using, this is not a QGIS bootcamp, so once you have it installed and open like this, that should be good to go. So I think we can close this one until the next time that we need it. Okay, now our GeoPython has installed all the packages, so we can do conda list to list all the packages. You find out that they are all there. Okay, now we have a lot more than what we saw at first, so all our packages have been installed. And there's one more thing. There's this package that we'll be using called GDAL. It's a bit tricky. You may think it is there, but it may not really be there. Because if we scroll through now to the G side, you should see GDAL here. But let's test it out and see. Just type exactly as I type. Just make sure that what I see there is also what you have. So just type Python like this, and then say here import GDAL. If you press enter, you should see it says the no model not found error, no model named GDAL. But this GDAL was also there, so it looks like it's installed, but it's not installed. But let's try it again from OSGeo, import GDAL, and then that one too throws up another error. This happened especially on Windows, because some of these libraries, and most of them are written in C, C++, so building those DLL files and those other necessary setup building files that it does, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult on Windows. So what I'll do here is to type quit with open and close bracket like this, and I'll clear my my terminal. So we will install GDAL. Let us go to the website, and then here we can search for GDAL install. Okay, and this is their documentation. Once again, you don't have to know about it. I will explain it during the onboarding and also when we are using them. So just make sure that you have it. So here at the download side, usually you see here that if we are using conda, that's why I scroll down to the conda side. Say conda install and then package name and all that. So the command is here to install GDAL. You see it has Python bindings and utilities. So if it doesn't find all those bindings and utilities, it will not work. You import it and it will not work. So let's just copy this command here, Control C, and then back in our terminal, if you right click inside the terminal, it will paste it for you. Then we press enter. Okay, so that one too says it will come with its own packages, and so you can see, I'm sure you now have an idea why, even though it was installed, it did not work. Because you see GDAL there, it also depends on other stuff that really did not come. And so now we can press Y and enter, or just enter, and then this one too, we give it some time to download it. But we'll go back to the website, and I think there is a way to test it, whether it is installed. I saw that on, I don't remember where I saw it, but there's a way to test it whether the installation was successful. Okay, but let's wait for it to finish installing, then we'll run our command again. I think it shouldn't take long for it to be done. Okay, so now our GDAL is done, at least that's what it says. So we'll go back and enter interactive Python mode. This is not where we run our code. We are just testing for GDAL installation. So we just say import GDAL, and still, so from OSGeo import GDAL, and then this time around the second one worked. So even the first one is still not working. So let's just try and see print, and then we just say GDAL. I think it should be dot underscore underscore version underscore underscore. I am not 100% set. Okay, so that is how to check it. So import GDAL from OSGeo, and then check the version. If the first one, which is import GDAL itself, did not work, and this one did not work, and this one did not work, and let us know quickly on the page so that we know how we can help you. Because if the first one fails and the second one is correct, you don't have a problem, GDAL will work. But if all the two fail and this one too doesn't show, then there's really a problem that we have to fix. And what we also want to install is Jupyter Notebook. So if we come here and say Jupyter, okay, let me type in the big one. So Jupyter Notebook install. That one too should this is how to install Jupyter on Notebook. And so if you go to their website like that, I saw here that it says that we should install Jupyter Lab. So it says that if you install Jupyter Lab with Conda or Mamba, we recommend using the Conda Forge channel. So let me come here and then Why does it say we should use the yes, this place? So that it will lead us to that place that we install it right. And then, oh, I was thinking that it should take me to, so let me go to packages. Okay, this is not exactly what I'm looking for. So install Jupyter. This Jig for Jigs is also a very good website. So let's check that one too out. So let's see, it says using pip, and this is the navigator. We are not using the navigator. We are not using pip also. So this one also is using pip. And so it says install it with the CForge. So maybe we should modify our search. Install conda. And Jigs for Jigs have it. So let's check this one out. I don't really think it did type the code, or it did. So I already have this command in mind, conda install Jupyter, but because they are advising that we install from the C4 channel, let's quit this one, clear from it, and then let's say conda install Jupyter Lab. And then let's hope that conda will do the right thing, and then we'll not have a problem. Okay, so I press enter to let it. So it's a whole lot of installations we are doing today. You can see it lists so many things, and it says more hidden. And so you can imagine if we put all of these things in the onboarding meeting, and then after this Windows, you now go to install Linux, that would be a lot. So that's why I broke the videos down. Okay, so let's test the installation of our Jupyter. You know that it's good to test things. So you just type Jupyter Lab like this, and then it said it didn't recognize it. So Jupyter, maybe there's space, and then lab. And if everything is successful, that thing should open up for us. Okay, it was. So it will open up in a browser. I think it should automatically bring up our browser, and then oh yes, this is Jupyter Lab. Everything is successful. Discard this file. So you should see something like this. That it means that our installation is successful. Okay, so we also have Jupyter Lab installed. So that will be it for our setting up on Windows. Press Ctrl+C to exit out of this. And so just make sure that all of these are installed. And then if you have a problem, just link it up on the page or even in the comment section there, and you'll be sorted out. Thank you very much for your time. I'll see you in the subsequent days for the bootcamp. Bye for now.